Hello everybody, welcome to Module 7 of MBA 652, Organizational Behavior. And in this module, we're going to cover the last two chapters of the entire course. Those are chapters 14 and 15. So let me give you the brief rundown on chapters 14 and 15, and then you can dig into the material and start working on the last little piece of your paper as well. So chapter 14 is about organizational culture. And basically, organizational culture is the set of shared beliefs that kind of mesh together. So you take all of these people who are doing all of these individual behaviors and even behaving differently in teams and groups and as an organization, as we've discovered over the course of this entire class. And when you mesh that together and you mesh all of the things that actually inform the way that people behave, corporately, you have this new kind of personality that represents the new culture of the entire organization. And the truth of the matter is that management does have influence over the culture of the organization, and they should influence it. It should be exactly what the shareholders set out to define for themselves. But the other side of this, or when I say that, I mean the owners of the business. But the other thing is that it's not immune to all of the other people that interact inside of it. And so if you want to have a culture that is a productive culture, you really should take into consideration all of the stakeholders that are impacted. Now, the book talks about the fact that the organizational culture is actually, all of the things that comprise who we are, right? So things like how we operate, what are our marks, what are the legends and stories that exist, what is the way that we do things, how do we collectively feel about certain types of actions, what are the artifacts that exist inside of our organization, and just understand that this, within the framework of what we've been talking about over the course of the past 7 weeks, is part of that situational factor. This is the outside stuff that actually influences people, but it could also interplay with the motivation, the abilities, and the role perception. So we have to understand that basically we're creating an environment within which people behave. And so to that extent, organizational culture is very, very important. Now, chapter 15 is about organizational change. And another thing to take into consideration is if we go through all of this stuff that we've been going through and we understand that we're trying to figure out what 5 behaviors there are and how individual elements of behavior might influence individuals inside of themselves and then outside with situational factors, another thing to understand is that if we're taking into consideration also how people behave, then we have to know that one of the huge situational factors that's going to be inevitable in every organization is the fact that there's going to be change. Things, they are changing, right? So all the time things are changing, and the truth of the matter is, this is very, very interesting. If you were in my face-to-face class right now, I would say, okay, everybody show of hands, how many people believe that people like change? Do people like change, yes or no? And I think that you guys would by and large say, no, no one likes change. People don't like change. Well, that's not really necessarily true. We kind of enjoy the change, but what we don't like is the process of change, right? So we resist change because it challenges the status quo, and we really are concerned about making sure that our security is there. But the truth of the matter is that we also accept change, and we look forward to having different things and doing things differently. And this is an opportunity to actually maybe fix some things that were broken. Change is really kind of an interesting thing. Now, what I want you to do is look into the chapter, because the chapter talks about what types of change there are, what is the nature of change, what is the nature of resistance to change, and how we can effectively look at change and make it happen productively. The book brings up Lewin's model of change management, and that's a very well-known model where you unfreeze, make the change, and refreeze this new culture. And so there's some elements there to pay attention to as well. So it's not really difficult material, but it's worthy enough for you to kind of pay attention to and to try to apply to all of the other things that we've been talking about over the course of the past 7 weeks. So I think that really is about it. However, as you know, and as I always say, if you have any problems or questions, feel free to reach out to me. Good luck, everyone.